Hello again, Donny Tropher, and welcome to another video. And this one's actually going to be a little bit of an interesting video, so it is. This one's actually going to be a new tech-related review. Yes, I know I've not done one of these in a while and stuff. And I think after making different videos and stuff, I've definitely wanted to make another one after putting it on hold for a bit. So, this video is going to be about the ZX Spectrum Vega, the Sinclair ZX Spectrum Vega. Now, for those that don't know what this is, basically it's a mini plug-and-play ZX Spectrum. And overall, a very interesting device. Obviously, we've seen a lot of plug-and-plays that do this, where basically like they miniaturize the console, pardon me, sorry, and basically make it for the modern day, for the modern day, of gaming. Overall, I think a really interesting device. I think it's just cool for what they've done and stuff. Now, the one thing I like is I quite like the packaging of it. I think it's very stylish, obviously very 80s and stuff. It's just, pretty cool and stuff. So obviously you've got the picture of the console itself, obviously the name of it, and obviously states that includes 1,000 preloaded classic games, which is true. This device actually does include 1,000 games, which is brilliant, you know what I mean? Obviously on there you've got the name and the logo, the colours. Same thing on there, usual writing and stuff. And you've also got the back of it, which basically shows you how to connect it. And yeah, I'm not joking. I'm just saying that the packaging is bloody nice. It really is. I love that. I think this is the thing with a lot of these like retro mini plug and play consoles, is the packaging is bloody nice. It really is. I'm not trying to brag about the packaging, I'm just saying overall, but just the way it goes. So obviously this is the console itself, which is very nice. Obviously has the styling of the original Spectrum, and yeah, just really cool. So obviously in the front of it, you've got all the buttons. You've got the D-pad, which feels nice in the hands. It really does. You've also got the R button there. You've got an F button, 1 button, 2, and S button, as well as buttons labelled A, B, C, and M down there, you can see. And of course you've got the logo there, Sinclair ZX Spectrum. And on the back of it, you've actually got a port on there. Now this port, just in case you can't see there, it's got like a little gap in it. This is actually a micro SD card slot. And the reason why this is actually on it is because of the fact that you can actually add more games to it. Basically, download a bunch of games to a micro SD card, obviously put it into the system, and you're playing away, which is really nice. And this is what I love about these little retro plug and plays. And obviously, at games who've made the Sega and Atari portables, they've actually included SD card slots on both. So you can actually add more games, which is really nice. And the makers of this device, Retro Computers Limited, obviously also included one as well, which is really nice. And I love that. I think that's the thing that I love about these like retro plug and plays. For the modern day, it's just they add that part, which is bloody good, and I love that. I really do. Now, one thing obviously I do want to mention is the cable. Now, the thing with the cables and stuff is they are quite long. They are bloody long. And when I opened it, I was quite shocked to see how much cable there was. I thought, bloody hell, I thought, that is crazy. You know what I mean? And obviously you've got a port. Obviously you've got, you plug them in and stuff, which you've got a USB port, which if you've actually got a USB port on your television, which that's actually quite handy. Obviously you can just plug it in, which powers the console. But if you don't have a USB port on your television, you can just use a USB plug or whatever and connect it, and you're done, which is quite nice. And you've also got composite cables, and obviously one handy thing is obviously you just plug them in and that's the way it goes. But over in the UK, a lot of televisions are starting to get rid of this port. Like the one that I actually have doesn't have these ports anymore. So what I actually usually do is I actually just use a SCART box, a little SCART adapter, which obviously you plug these 3 wire cables in, and plug away, and then you're done, which is quite nice and stuff. So good for SCART. So it is. I love that. I really, really do. So yeah, it's pretty cool, that and stuff. Now, one thing I just want to talk about is my experience of this device. Now, obviously for me, I never really grew up with the ZX Spectrum. It came out in the early 90s and ended a couple of years before I think it was about a year before I was born. So obviously I never knew about the ZX Spectrum when I was younger. I eventually did start knowing about it when I went to a media museum in the city I live in. And obviously you have, like, science, parts and stuff. They have a cafe area. But basically it's a museum to learn about stuff, which is quite nice. A museum about technology. And the thing about it is that they actually have a games lounge on the top floor. Obviously they've got a lot of these old retro games. And they've even got a part where it shows old consoles, which is quite nice. I love that. The thing that actually surprises me is that they've actually got a Virtual Boy in there, which is a console that never got a release in this country or even Europe. You know what I mean? So it's quite interesting. So that was actually my first taste of seeing this Virtual Boy. I thought, I've never heard about this before. I'd love to own one of those. Try it out. So obviously they actually had arcade machines, but they also had an original PlayStation playing, the N64, Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, and they had a ZX Spectrum. And it had a game called Manic Miner. So obviously I went to try out this game because I'd never played the Spectrum before. It was a console that it was a gaming platform that I'd never played before or even heard about before until that point. So what ended up happening was I looked at the instructions because they have instructions for all the games, so they do. So what I actually started doing was I started, trying it out, and obviously I didn't understand the way it was because, I think for years, obviously, I've always been used to like playing with a game controller, a controller instead of a sort of keyboard type thing. But once I started playing it, I started, enjoying it, and I thought this is really, really good. And obviously, I, worked out which buttons to play and, to press and stuff. And I just loved it. I really, really did. So obviously, any time I actually used to go to this media museum, I would always play a Manic Miner because, again, it was just a game I started getting into. So then after that, I actually downloaded a ZX Spectrum emulator to my tablet where I downloaded Manic Miner. That was like the only game I actually played. I was playing from this system. And I just loved it. I really, really did. And then I eventually downloaded the same emulator on my mobile phone where, again, I downloaded that game as well on my mobile phone. And again, I just loved it. And I sort of got addicted to this game because it was really, really good. Just loved it. I really, really did. And I eventually did buy this device, and I thought, this is really, really cool. So I hooked it up and just started playing away. And having fun. And it was interesting to see, games that I'd never played before. Obviously, I didn't understand at first, because again, I was sort of new to it. Even though you do get instructions for each game. And some of them felt a bit weird, I think, because again, I was getting used to the new library of this platform. And and then after that, I just started enjoying it and, having fun with it. It really, really is. And it's a pretty cool device, I think, even if you've never played any of the ZX Spectrum games. I think if you're used to playing the games and stuff, I think you'll definitely like this device and stuff. But I think for someone new and stuff, it might take a bit of time to get used to it. But I think once you get into the games and stuff, you'll have fun. You really, really will. Because there's one game I played on here called Jetpack, which is made by Rare, the company that Microsoft owns now. which I've actually played through the Rare Replay collection on Xbox One. And it's a really, really good, cool game. It really, really is. And just had fun, you know what I mean? I love stuff like this, and I think this is what I like about these little retro plug-and players, is you can just connect it to your television and you're done, which is nice, you know what I mean? It's a really, really cool thing, and it's definitely well worth checking out, even if you're new to the, library and stuff, even if you're a young adult or whatever. Definitely check out the ZX Spectrum Vega, or check out the Spectrum library overall, 'cause some great games in that, on that, for that platform and stuff. And obviously I'm still used to it. I'm still, new to it, because again, I've not played every game that's made for the Spectrum, so obviously it's something to experience and stuff. And I love it, you know what I mean? I love these little retro, mini consoles and stuff. Definitely something I want to talk about in the far future, I think, overall. Because I know there's some other really, really cool ones. I know there's that At Games Mega Drive Flashback HD, which I'd love to definitely get. There's that Commodore 64 one as well, which looks amazing. And yeah, it's just really, really cool and stuff. I just like it. It's just amazing and stuff. It's just, I think it's easy access. You know what I mean? Just plug it in, connect it, and then that's it. You know what I mean? I think that's what I like about it and stuff. Just a really, really cool thing. And it's well worth checking out. It really, really is. Now, there's actually one thing I just want to mention, is there's also another device that this company made, which is the Vega Plus. Now, the Vega Plus was basically a handheld version of this, so it was. And it came out last month, and there was a bit of controversy, so there was, between the company and the other company that owns the license to the Spectrum, which obviously I won't really get into, but I just wanted to, mention about the device and stuff. Even though it probably will not get released as in retail. Sorry, even though it probably won't get a retail release, it looks quite nice. It really, really does. I know a lot of people absolutely don't like it and stuff, but yeah, it looks really, really cool, little handheld Spectrum. But I just wanted to mention that and stuff. I don't really want to get into that. I just wanted to mention that and stuff, that there is a handheld version and stuff, which is really, really cool. But apart from that, Spectrum Vega, ZX Spectrum Vega, sorry, pretty cool device. And if you never played it, definitely check out this library of games, because it's really, really cool. I know a lot of people like the original hardware, and a lot of people might just say, well, why did you just play it on an emulator or whatever? I think it's nice to have, getting the feeling of, these mini consoles, and obviously, remakes of the originals. They are really, really nice and stuff. But yeah, a pretty cool device and stuff, and I love it. I really, really do. So yeah, ZX Spectrum Vega, a pretty cool device and stuff. And I think if you've never played any of the ZX Spectrum games, or if you're new to it, definitely check it out and stuff, because it's a pretty cool device and stuff. I don't know if it's been released everywhere in the world. Again, I don't know. But even if you don't own it, you just play it on an emulator, or you play it on the actual hardware, definitely check it out. Some great games in that library, so there is. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you're glad to see me make a new tech-related review, even if it's a retro mini plug-and-play. But again, I love them and stuff, and that's all it is. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all on Friday with my Alex Francis video. Let's see what is up to this week, so hopefully craziness, as well as my regular video on Saturday. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I hope you all had a great weekend. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye!